Good morning, everybody. I'm actually camping at Rowan River. I'll go for a little ride this morning. It's a nice morning. People already heading out to go fishing. This is the Rowan River State Park. It's south of Cassville, Missouri. It's Campground 3 is what I'm staying in there. It's a nice cool morning too. It's nice, but it's a little cool. Like, you got these this is a HJC jacket coat for riding, and it's got zippers underneath the arms and different places that you open up, and it's got netting, lets air in, and well, you can feel the cool air coming in. They do work. Go for a ride up through the park and out this dirt road out the end of the park out here. There's some people right there with motorcycles, look like fishing. They ring a buzzer, a whistle that goes off, and I think it's either 6 o'clock or 6:30. It may be 6:30. We'll see. If anybody's actually fishing right now, then it was 6 o'clock that it went off. If they're not fishing, that means it goes off at 6:30. And everybody I see so far, they don't look like they're actually fishing yet. They might be. Hard to tell. But I done a ride up through here on one of my videos up through the park here, and the leaves wasn't on like this. It's really beautiful when the leaves are on in the spring here. This is like May 18th. Well, ain't nobody actually fishing yet, so I'd say it goes off at 6:30. Everybody's just getting ready. Yeah, say it's 6:30 when it goes off, and then it'll go off a little bit before dark. They probably 7:30 or 8 is when they'll ring the whistle and a buzzer or whatever you want to call it in the evening. They actually have some cabins up here that you can rent. See them up there on the hillside. You got to park down here, and then there's a little sidewalk that you walk up to get to them. You see right there the stairs. How you get to them. A little bit of water in the creek. Try not to just go splashing through all the mud holes and getting my feet soaking wet. We had a storm the other day, blowed some limbs off. There was a tornado about around 20 miles from here or so. Touchdown. Up toward Monette. You can see this road ain't too awful much traveled. You can see by the grass growing up in the middle of the road. Nobody actually lives up through here. Or not that I know of. Be a rough place to live. It gets so bad when it rains and floods down through here that if it actually even floods into Roaring River State Park, they have to sometimes evacuate because it floods down through the park. I'm hoping it don't do it while I'm there. I've actually been doing some of my recording in 60 frames 720p lately because it's still a pretty good video. It's a real good video. Probably actually a little better at the 60 frames per second. Also, the file size is smaller. It's like 100 megabytes if I do 1080p 30 frames per second for a minute. I've done a minute test and it done 100 megabytes. Well, I done 720p 60 frames and it was like 75 megabytes, so it's 25% smaller. Makes it a little better for uploading. It's not so bad when you say 100 megabytes, but when you do it and you think a gigabyte, then you're talking it's 250 megabytes smaller on 720p. Now the 720p 30 frames per second is half the size, pretty much. That's not exact, so don't quote me on that, but I've done the test on 1 minute on all three, and the 30 frames per second 720p was about half the size. So it would be on a gigabyte video, it would be 500 megabyte for 720p 30 frames. And I may do one that way just to see, upload it and a 30 frame per second, see what everybody thinks. I mean, if it's good enough, 720p 30 frames per second, you know. I'm gonna have to get some gas too when I get to town. If you'll notice on my fuel gauge down here, I'm on 1 bar. If you're a CRF250L rider, you know when it gets down there low enough, well, there's a tree down. It's not all the way across the road, thank goodness, so I'd have to turn around and go back. Ain't got much of a way to cut it. But if you'll notice on the fuel gauge on the CRF250L, it gets down to 1 bar, and then when it gets down lower than that, it starts flashing between this little gas pump and the bottom bar. They call it an alternate, and I don't know how far you got to go on that before you run out, but I don't want to run out, especially down in here where I ain't got no cell phone service. I usually don't let the fuel get that low. It's just one of those deals where I wasn't paying attention. Another tree, but a big old tree down there, you can tell it is because it's green, the leaves on that walnut. It's got leaves out on it. A big dead one there. Nice little ride up through here. I'm surprised I haven't seen no deer yet. There's a old motocross track right out there. I actually raced on that before, back when I used to race. They had motocross there, and they had hair scraper. There's a deer right there. I'm sure you didn't see it on the camera, but it just jumped right off down on that hillside right there. Yep, you can't see it, but you might caught it if you'd have been paying attention to back up the camera. You can see it just go off the road and in the ditch down through there. But I used to have hare scrambles and motocross down there. It's been a while. Pay attention, we might see some more deer up here. Right in this little field, maybe. Well, I don't see any. They're over here. Don't see any in there. A lot of times this time of morning you'll see them in these little fields here. But not today. I haven't even seen those squirrels out yet this morning. They're usually about this time, just going everywhere. Well, everybody, I think I'm going to cut this video off. I'm pretty much out of that road and back on the pavement here with the cows. Please subscribe to my channel and click like on the videos. Watch all the videos if you can. And I sure appreciate it. I appreciate all the comments. I'll catch y'all in the next video.